almost 10 years this summer, but I've been an occupational therapist now for 16 years. So I'm going to share with you, or at least try to share with you, a slideshow, a PowerPoint. This is what, so you can share screen. Get there, and then click on your slideshow. Yeah, we got it. And do you, except we have everything. All right, now we have it. So this is just about how to stay safe in your home. So there are 5 features that are helpful for aging in place. 1 is a no-step entry. Having at least one step-free entry, whether it's your front door, your back door, or your garage door, lets not only yourself, but anyone else who enters the home enter easily. Living on one level. Having a bedroom, a kitchen, a full bathroom with plenty maneuvering room and an entertainment area on the same floor makes life convenient for all families, no matter what age you are. Wide hallways and doorways. Doorways at least 36 inches wide that you can easily move large pieces of furniture is helpful. Also, having hallways that are 42 inches wide and free of hazards or steps lets everyone and everything move in and out easily. Having accessible outlets and switches. Light switches at approximately 42 to 48 inches above the floor is helpful. Thermostats no longer than 48 inches above the floor is also helpful. Then the electrical outlets, having them 18 to 24 inches off the floor is ideal. This allows someone in a wheelchair to reach these items as well. Or people who have decreased movement in their shoulders and can't raise their arms up all the way. This allows easier access. Then having lever handles or faucets is also helpful. These types of handles make opening doors, turning on water, and lighting a room easier for people of all ages. Now with you people that are on here, sorry, there's an echo suddenly. How many homes in the US do you think have all 5 of these features? You can hold up a number, let me know what you think, or shout it out if you're not muted. Any guesses?
Not very many.
You are right, there are. 1% of the homes have these features.
Oh, wow.
So these features are considered universal designs. These are things that we're trying to, I say we, just as a society are trying to push for, one, when homes are being built, but then also when people are looking at potentially remodeling and things like that, because it doesn't matter how old you are. You never know when you might need to have a wheelchair or use something, and this is, these are helpful, like I said, for people of all ages. So if you can't remodel your home, here are some options. So if you do have a step to come in, maybe it's too big and you can build the platform step. Or the plastic step in the middle is a nice platform step that you can buy off of Amazon that just decreases the height of the step into the door. And then the lever handles. It just allows for easier maneuverability for people who have, say, arthritis in their hands, and grasping those knobs is hard now for turning. Now we're going to go through the home and we're going to check for safety. First, let's look at the floors. Is there furniture blocking the pathways? Are you walking on throw rugs? A lot of people will put the furniture blocking a doorway, say into the kitchen or into another room, or to leave the room in order to get more furniture in for seating purposes, things like that. So making sure that those pathways are accessible and not narrow is very important. And then the throw rugs. A lot of people are not willing to get rid of their throw rugs, which is fine, but if this is their home, as an OT, it's one of the first recommendations I make is people get rid of throw rugs because they are a big trip hazard. But I understand some people have lived in their homes for years, and so the carpet's worn out and they haven't been able to replace it, so they put a throw rug down or something like that. So if you do have throw rugs, applying some backing on the bottom of it, some of that double-sided tape that is appropriate for throw rugs is very helpful so it doesn't curl up. Are there papers, books, towels, shoes, magazines, boxes, blankets, all of these other objects laying on the floor? If they are, try to put them on the table. Try to find a box or a bin to put them in so they're not on the floor and those piles aren't tending to fall over and become a trip hazard. Are you walking over or around cords or wires or even oxygen tubing? The item on the bottom there, they're little tacks that you can tack to the wall to secure the cords so they aren't just loose and around. They also have these cylinders that you can put cords through and then put up like kind of like molding, crown molding in a home. So if you want something to go up and not across the floor, you can do that around the ceiling too. Are there items on the stairs? So now we're going to go to stairs and steps. Again, do you have things on your stairs going upstairs or down to the basement that you might trip over? I'm really bad about this myself, putting my shoes on the steps in order for me to make sure I carry them up in the morning or at night, but then I tend not to. And then when I come down, I'm taking a big chance of stepping on them and sliding. And my husband yells at me all the time for it. And I'm the OT in the family. So putting items on the steps is definitely a fall hazard. So we want to be careful with that. Are some of the steps, say outside or even sometimes in the home, are they broken or are they uneven? Are you missing a light over the stairways? Is there even a light? So this light right here over the shelf is a battery operated light that is, it's just an adhesive thing that sticks to the ceiling. And these are things that you can get online. We install these in a lot of people's homes over their lights, in their closets, and even sometimes over the shower or inside the bathtub to give them extra lighting. Do you have only one light switch, say at the top of the stairs? And this is where those lights come in handy because they're also motion censored. So they don't stay on all the time. When they sense motion, that's when they come on. Is the light burned out? Maybe replace that with an LED light so it's less often that you're changing it. How's the carpet on the steps? Is it torn? Would it be beneficial just to remove the carpet so you're not tripping over that torn piece? Do you have handrails? If you do, are they tightly bolted into the wall or are they loose? And do you only have one? Adding that additional handrail like you see in this picture is very helpful. So she had a wrought iron handrail on one side and we added a handrail on the other side. So now she has a handrail on each side so she can hold on with both hands going up and down the steps. All right, so for the kitchen, are the things you use often on high shelves? How difficult is it for you to reach them? Are you standing on your tippy toes to grab stuff in those top cupboards? Maybe try moving things down. Leave commonly used items on the countertop or on the stove. A lot of people get bothered by that because of clutter, but when we're talking about falls, I would much rather you have a cluttered kitchen counter than falling on that hard floor. So bringing things down is very helpful. And if you're going to use a step stool, how sturdy is it? Does it have a handle on it that you can hold on to? This step stool that is pictured is very helpful because it has a wide base. It's actually a medical step stool. So it's this one is by Drive. There are others out there, but Drive Medical produces this one. And so it's sturdy. Like I said, it has a wide base, and then you have a handle to hold on to. And just for extra storage, so if you're bringing things down and you don't necessarily want them on your countertop or on your stovetop, the baskets over here, they're under shelf baskets. So you can put them on potentially put them on your shelves that come underneath your cabinets. And then if you have any free wall space that you can add shelves to is helpful. One gentleman that we worked with, he lives in an apartment complex, and we added shelves like this over his stovetop, the ones that screw into the wall, just to put his spices on, so he wasn't having to reach up into the spice cabinet. And then that gave him room to put other things on a lower surface. So trying to get creative and add extra shelving is helpful. Now we're going to go to the bathroom. Is the tub floor or shower slippery? If it is slippery, adding something with texture is very helpful. Some people have the bath mats, which is shown down here. Some people hate those because they build up mildew and algae and stuff underneath them, and they're constantly pulling them up and letting them hang dry. Well, bending over gets difficult. So maybe you add an adhesive sticker that is resistant to the bottom of the tub or shower. They come in all different shapes and sizes nowadays. You can get fun like ducks and butterflies, or you can get just the plain white adhesive strips that you put down on the bottom of the floor. Those adhesive strips are good if you have a textured bathtub or shower. So a lot of times if the bathtub or shower floor is somewhat textured, then the mat doesn't work because it won't suction to it. People's go-to is to put their towel, like a hand towel, on the floor. They think that's going to provide some support and provide safety. Problem with putting a hand towel on the floor, it does. It makes it not quite as slippery, but it still moves. And so slipping on that is just dangerous as well. So I try to get people to stay away from putting a towel at the bottom of their tub or shower. Do you need some support when you're trying to get in and out of the tub or on and off of the toilet? Here I've shown you a tub mounted grab bar. This is not a permanent feature. It clamps onto the tub. It's also helpful if your bathtub and toilet are next to each other. So you can use it for getting on and off the toilet and in and out of the bathtub. So this item is very, very helpful. And then on the toilet, this is a toilet safety frame or rail. These are very helpful because they don't have legs. So you'll see some that have legs that come down for support. I don't prefer those because people who are coming in with a walker or something, they might catch that. And this gives them an opportunity to have railings. It's not permanent because it just goes in the same holes that your toilet seat and lid are connected to. And then it gives you the support to get up, but we're not taking a chance of tripping over anything. And then you're also not, if you're not adding grab bars in your bathroom, permanent ones, you're not having to reach across the wall for something. You're able to push up from exactly what you're sitting on, which is ideal. Now our bedrooms. Is the light near the bed too hard to reach? So many times, you know, the light to your room is by the door. Well, your bed is not by the door. So you have to turn off your light to go to bed and then walk to your bed in the dark. Add a night light or add a lamp. I know outlets are few and far between in a lot of homes. So they're usually always full. And then there's the power strips that are also going across that people have full of stuff. So they don't need another thing to plug in. Well, having a lamp like this that has other adaptations on it is very helpful. Like this one has the USB cord adaptation, so you can plug in your phone in there, so you don't necessarily have to have a charger for your phone. These are also LED lights, so if anybody has any issues with vision, this is very helpful type of lighting to have in your room. Also having night lights. Some people don't want a night light that's on all night. These that are pictured here are motion censored. So as soon as it notices the motion of someone getting out of bed or their feet hitting the floor, it will come on. We've added these to some people's steps, like what's here. I had a client that I was seeing that when she got up, she would, as soon as she got out of bed, it would trigger one that was literally posted on her door frame. She lived alone, so she didn't keep her door shut. And so they put it, she wanted on her door frame, and it's battery operated. So there's no outlet. So again, it's an adhesive that you can put on there. So if she wants to take it off, she can. It's not permanent, but it was in a very good location for her. And so that's what's good about some of these things, is that you can put them where you want because we're not tied to the electricity anymore. Some other things that you can do to remain safe in your home is doing exercises that improve your balance and make your legs stronger. You know, and this is very important. And we're not talking about hours upon hours of exercises, but just simple exercises that you've received from other classes, balance classes, things like that is helpful. Also, doing these exercises before you crawl out of bed and go to the bathroom, it gets the blood flowing in your joints. Gets the stiffness out of your joints. It's very helpful. It allows the muscles to wake up before you start putting weight through those legs. So simple exercises prior to getting out of bed is also good. Reviewing your medications with your doctor or even a pharmacist is helpful, because a lot of times medicines, even over-the-counter medications, can cause dizziness. So if you're dealing with any dizziness, reviewing your medications is very helpful. Also, make sure that you are moving slowly in and out of bed, because when we change positions, sometimes our blood pressure doesn't change appropriately with us and it drops. So, and that causes dizziness. So making sure when you crawl out of bed, you sit there on the edge of the bed first and make sure you have your whereabouts. And then when you stand up, the same thing. Make sure you don't get dizzy, because that's when the blood pressure might drop and cause dizziness. And you don't want that to happen when you're halfway through the room or on the way to the bathroom, because that's when people end up falling. Maintain yearly eye checks with your eye doctor. Often people neglect this area because they're focused on their medical, but eye care is very important as well. So making sure you're having your eyes checked regularly, you have the right prescription for your glasses, things like that is very helpful. Wearing good shoes with the back. So avoid slippers. You have house shoes, just make sure they have a good sturdy sole and that they aren't slip-on, that they do have a good back on them. And then avoid walking around barefooted also. You want to make sure that you have a good sole on your foot, on your shoe, so you have that extra support when you're standing and walking. Wait a minute. Okay. Other things to remember: improve your lighting, like I've talked about earlier, trying to switch to LED lights so you don't have to replace your bulbs often, and adding lighting in other areas is very helpful. Like I said, adding them in over the shower stall or over the bathtub area. You may have a light over the sink, but if you don't have something over the shower, adding one there might be very helpful. With your steps, adding paint or even duct tape, colored duct tape, like on the outside steps, is helpful for anybody that has vision issues. If you can't see depth perception very well, you can identify that better, that color, and notice where the edge of steps are. Some people even do this in their home. They're willing to put the tape on their stairs or paint the edge of their stairs. It just keeps those areas safer. And then keeping your emergency phone numbers near your phone. So if you don't have a home phone, a landline anymore, or you mostly just use your cell phone, carrying that cell phone with you at all times is helpful. So sometimes you don't have pockets. So they have little lanyards that you can purchase that have little pouches on it to hold cell phones in that are very non-intrusive, and that's helpful. And a lot of people don't want to purchase the alarm devices because they have a cell phone and it's always with them. The good thing about the alarm devices, though, that if you fall in the shower where your cell phone is not, you have access then to that. And the alarm devices are also sometimes helpful if you have the one that detects falls. So if you're a person that might have syncopal episodes where you just suddenly pass out or faint, those devices are able to detect when you have a sudden change in position, and they automatically call the main base, which is somewhere in your home. If there's no response, then they'll send out emergency personnel. And I actually had a home health patient one time that had that device, and thank goodness, because she lived in downtown Denver and the trash was in the dumpster in the alley, and she passed out 3 times in the alley taking trash out. And the 3rd time she finally came to, 911 was standing over her. So it detected the falls and they were able to find her back there. So those devices are very helpful. But if you don't want the alarm device, carrying your phone with you at all times is really good. Also, knowing how to get up from a fall is helpful. And if you're comfortable with it, practicing getting up and down from the floor. So this here is a nice little handout that just talks about how to get up from a fall. And a lot of people that I've seen in our program called Capable have been very interested in making getting up and down from the floor one of their goals, because they want to have that confidence that they know how to get up from the floor. Is it exhausting? Absolutely. They're usually short of breath and taking rest breaks. But once they get up from the floor, they're like, I didn't know I could do it. So knowing how to get up and down from the floor is very helpful, builds confidence, and it empowers you. But it's also great exercise. So the muscles that you use getting up and down from the floor are not muscles that you typically use on a regular basis. So those big upper back muscles and things like that you're using in this. Plus, it's also a little bit of cardiovascular exercise because, like I said, you'll be surprised at how short of breath you get getting up and down from the floor. But it empowers you, like I said, to know how to do it. I tell people, don't try it by yourself. Make sure someone is with you before you do it. If you're in pain, don't do it. But again, make sure someone's there. So if you need a little bit of help getting up and down from the floor, you have it there. But this is a good handout on how to do it. And then that is my resources. Let's see. All right. What questions do you guys have?
I think you covered everything really well.
Well, thank you. It's an everyday thing for me.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah. Oh, one thing, I don't think I mentioned it. When we were talking about the front steps, they have these little bitty rubber ramps that you can also purchase. So through Amazon, it's just called a threshold ramp. And they're even big enough and strong enough to withhold wheelchairs. So I had a client that was in a power wheelchair and he had one. I said, where did you get this? But then he's not worried about even that little 1 to 2 inch threshold that sometimes the like backsliding glass doors provide or the front door provides. And so those are very helpful as well. They have the metal ramps too. So if you don't have too many steps, they have the metal ramps that aren't permanent that can be used and moved easily for people. So long as I say easily, I don't have many, I have some people that have family members that move it for them. Usually the people I'm seeing aren't moving those ramps themselves, but you know, it's a lot cheaper than going out and building a ramp and paying for the personnel to do that as well. Any other questions? Or anything that you have come across that you thought was helpful?
So far, I haven't needed anything.
Good, good. When I think sometimes we just slowly adapt too. We just, you know, we come across things and we just start implementing them without even thinking, oh, I need to start using this. It's just something that we just so slowly start modifying and adapting. No matter how old we are, we just start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any specific exercises that would help us?
I wouldn't say anything specific, just movement, movement matters. So, ankle pumps, bending your knees, marching, things like that, I think are very helpful just to keep you from getting stiff, especially when when you've been in bed all night long. That's usually when people are the most stiff. So before they crawl out of bed, pumping your ankles up and down and bending your knees, maybe even bringing your leg out to the side like you're making a snow angel, and then roll onto your side and get out of bed. And making sure that you do sit there for a second so you can roll onto your side. And I know usually you're getting up and trying to get to the bathroom. I get it. Yeah, we all are that way. But if that blood pressure drops because you've been in bed all night, you're not going to get to the bathroom because you're going to fall. So just taking that 5 seconds, 10 seconds to make sure that you're not dizzy is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And those exercises are helpful, especially right now if you're dealing with arthritis and these weather changes coming in, because we all know that people with arthritis are the best meteorologists. So doing those, just even if it's just 5 reps of those things prior to trying to weight bear through your legs and those joints is very helpful.
And I've heard that it's really good for you to walk on your tippy toes and then on your heels, because this was an article that said after you had your first fall, these are some exercises you can do so you don't have a second fall. Well, my thought was, I don't want to have the first one.
Correct. I was just about to say that.
I always walk along my counter just in case.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea to use support when you're doing that, since it's not a natural thing. So walking along the countertop in the kitchen, perfect. Mm-hmm. And I think if you do fall, you need to think, okay, what may have caused that fall? What happened? And you know what? Maybe I need to ask my doctor for a physical therapy consult just in case. And then I can get some fall prevention techniques and exercises to do so I do not experience this again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that is most people's issue, is the fear of falling. They have fallen and then they just have a lot of fear after that and anxiety related to doing things because of that experience, and they don't want to experience that again.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're almost too careful then.
Correct. So then they're guarded and they don't do movement, which then causes more issues. You're absolutely right. And that's why I tell people, asking for a physical therapy consult or an OT consult after that isn't saying, it's not giving up. Like, that's saying, you know what, I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm going to be proactive and take care of this so it doesn't happen again.
And now with the telephones that we have, you can go online to sit and be fit and those kinds of things. Yeah.
And being proactive and doing that stuff is great. That's really good that you do that. Because you're right, with the technology we have, and more and more people are adapting to the technology, it does give you more access to different types of things. I had a person tell me that I was seeing for home health that has Parkinson's, and she does this Parkinson's exercise class from Florida on Zoom every day. So, I mean, it's great because it's unlimited pretty much, but you also have to be careful that it's safe. So if it doesn't feel right to you, then you don't need to be doing it. And if it causes pain, then you don't need to be doing it. You need to consult your doctor and see and have someone come talk to you in person about it or something like that.
Anybody else have any questions before we sign off for the day?
Nope, don't think so.
Nope. Amanda, we appreciate you being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You guys have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.